All right, it is day 4 of the Trans Rights Readathon, and I have read a little bit. So far, I've read 2 books. I've read What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I don't know if you can see the cover. The cover is beautiful. And then I've also just finished Pet. But right now, while I'm doing a little project that I have for my classroom, I'm going to talk to you about What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. And also, let me just show you, although this is not my official reading journal, I do have this notebook where I take notes. And while I was reading What Moves the Dead, I was just looking for stickers that are relatable to the book, and I just created this, and I'm so happy that I did, because I don't know, it's just like, those are the little things that I like doing it when I'm reading a book. So I wrote a little bit about what I was reading, and I added some stickers, and I'm really happy how this one turned out. And then when I have the time to actually do something with my official reading journal, then I'll just have something to kind of look back and see, and put in this one. So What Moves the Dead is actually a retelling. It is a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. I am not really a fan of Edgar Allan Poe. I have not read much of his work or anything, but I did really like this book, and I recommend it if you like anything horror. This is a horror book. This has to do also with fungi, and kind of like fungi, and it being infected with fungi. So this, anything at all like this is triggering. Please, I would advise you to stay away from this one, because that's what the book is about. Story starts with our main character, Alex Easton. They are a retired soldier, and they received a letter from a friend, like a childhood friend, and saying that she is dying, or she thinks she's dying. So they decide to go visit this friend. And then when they arrived, it turns out that it's a lot worse than they thought. It is just the place where both Madeline, who is the friend that is dying, and her brother are living in this mansion, and it turns out that it's the place is kind of falling apart. There's just so many weird things going on. Madeline doesn't seem herself, and they're just kind of trying to figure out why won't they leave, why they are basically stuck in this place. And Alex offers their friend and the brother to just leave the place, but for some reason they cannot go anywhere. And then it's just weird things keep happening. This book reminded me a lot of Mexican Gothic, because of the fungi, and this friend coming in to visit an old friend, or there's some similarities that I found, but I found that with this one, What Moves the Dead, it took it to another level of horror. I was afraid for the characters. I was afraid. I was even afraid to read this late at night. Like I said, there's body horror. So if this is not something that you think you can handle, then yeah, there's a lot of very explicit scenes where certain things are actually happening to a human body, as well as rabbits are involved as well. So there's a lot of things going on. They start seeing that, for example, in the lake, the fish, are also somehow contaminated with this fungi. So it was creepy. I thought it was very creepy because it is just something that you don't see, you don't realize when it's, getting into your body, when you're contaminated with this. So, for example, they thought at one point that, we're drinking the water from the lake, so our bodies must be contaminated with this if the fish are contaminated. So all of that was very, very creepy, and it just gave me chills, just to think that so many things could be in the water, and they were drinking the water and they didn't know if they were contaminated with this. Another thing that it made me think of was the show The Last of Us. I know that show was inspired by a video game. I've never played the video game, but I did watch the series, the first season, and that also has to do with some kind of contamination and fungi. So I really like the way that the main character, Alex Easton, was introduced to the story. I like that, we were told how they became a soldier, and kind of like a little bit of history of how transgender men became soldiers in this place. I'm trying to remember the country that they're from, but I can't, it's escaping me. But yeah, it kind of gives you a little bit of history without like overwhelming. It wasn't like a lot of overwhelming details, but you kind of find out how they became a soldier, and a little bit of the history in that. And I thought it was a great way to start the story and to give us a little bit more information about our character. Overall, I really liked this book. I didn't expect to be this level of horror, but that's just my fault for not looking more into it. But I really enjoyed it. If anything, one detail that I didn't really like is that the end of the book was a little underwhelming, and I won't go into any details because I don't want to spoil anything, but I felt like the resolution was a little too abrupt. But I did hear that there might be a sequel to this book, and it's going to focus on our main character, Alex, and another excellent character that I really like, which is Miss Porter, I believe is her name. But yeah, and I mean, because I kept thinking, like, these guys, there's no way they're not infected. There's no way they have not been contaminated. I don't care what they said at the end, they give us a reason why they would not be contaminated, but I'm like, I think they're carrying it with them. I think, and to me, it's just like, there's no way they have it. They're carrying it around, and now, like, it's spreading everywhere. But if there's going to be a sequel, I am definitely going to read it, because I want to know if my predictions are right, and we'll see. But yeah, overall, if I would have to rate this, I would say a 4.5, just because the ending, like I said, it was underwhelming in my opinion, but you know, the more I think about it, the more I realize how much I enjoyed reading this book and how terrified I was. But you know, it's the fact that I was terrified is not a bad thing. It's actually a compliment to the book, to the writing, to the author, because yes, it was definitely horror, and I enjoyed it very much. Okay, so this video is a little late. This is a book that I read back in March for the Trans Rights Readathon, and I really enjoyed it. I hope that you guys liked the video, and if you do, please give it a like. Let me know in the comments if you read it, and I will see you in the next video.